keeping talking about books and the kind of books I refer to every time I speak about a particular sorts of books. Today I am going to continue talking about dictionaries in particular. As I said before, dictionaries, they come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. Word came is a past tense, meaning the dictionary books which are already been published, sold, and they exist. Therefore, if I say the books or a book as it comes or it come, it means it's a present tense and including the future, meaning that the future dictionaries, they may be printed at a different cover. For instance, this dictionary cover is different than this dictionary, and also this dictionary. So I am holding here these dictionaries also are different than this one. This one I've already spoken about, Chambers Spelling Dictionary. It's not necessarily dictionaries have a word dictionary written at the front of it. You have to know it is a dictionary, and they all have copyright inside its pages. Before you start traveling around the words as they come, you get a copyright. And this copyright is different than the copyright I've already mentioned about a bird watching, a book about bird watching. I did explain the mother page is this page, where the policy of the copyright is written before anything else can be displayed inside. And dictionaries have lines of words, as you can see. So therefore, as I said before, the mother page is the first page. If the book doesn't have no explanation at the back of it, like this one, which I mentioned before, not all books have writings at the back of them. For instance, this one has explained to you what is inside the book. So you don't really need to open the book. You're entitled to read that to explain to you if this dictionary is it for you personally, or for a person who you are teaching. Maybe your child, for instance. I bought books for my children. My children buy books for me as an adult for any occasion, or sometimes without any occasion. if I mentioned that I wanted some kind of book that I couldn't find. If my children have it, they let me borrow it. Or maybe they let me keep it. And then they refer to it when they need it. The same with this one. This is another language. This one is French language, which I find it very useful for me. As I am now resident in this country don't speak French, they speak English. The language I am referring to, which I am speaking with, is English. Therefore, this is French dictionary. I refer to this dictionary from time to time, but I don't find everything I need in a particular dictionary, whether it's small or large. They are all different, and they not all necessarily have all the languages you want. Like this one also have written at the back of it. So you read this, for instance, and then you think this is the dictionary. It might come handy for you, or it is in the use of the language you are looking for the words and pronunciations that you want to learn about. So you read this. You pick one off the shelf at the shops and you read what is entirely inside of a dictionary. The same with any book that has a story, whether it's a real story or a fiction story or imaginary story. They sometimes have a brief description about what is inside the book. So you read it. But if it doesn't have that, like this one only a tag here, which it goes through the machine to pay for it. But at the front, you know it is Chambers Spelling Dictionary, but it doesn't say dictionary. The word is a ghost, the same as its cover. It shines because it's been painted or sprayed with clear, like a glue, also to keep it safe from water or from anything else. And as I am speaking about the books and their covers, like I said before, this book has been roughened up a bit over the years, and it started to be damaged in certain places because the covering of its paper is not strong enough. Therefore, it became a little bit torn here, and a piece of paper, a covering, came off here. And I advise, my own advice, if your book has got a dust on it, like say spider web, because it's been in the shelf for so long, and you picked it up, you blew it, and the dust didn't go, you get yourself a brush and you brush it off. You mustn't get off what is this was you bought it with a solution, because books, they get sprayed when they're newly made. So try carefully to keep your books clean, so that you don't have to clean them. Because if you clean them with anything, especially solution, you get rid of what was original spray or painting that was in the factory, or a person who, for instance, painted on it. So you mustn't fiddle with the original artwork. You can write on it. If it's your own dictionary, you own it, it's all up to you what it is you want to do with it. But spiritually ways to keep the book safe. You do not clean it with solutions, even if it's clear water, because you get rid of the value of the paint or spray that was originally with it. As an artist, you should understand a piece of work from an artist should stay like that. It shouldn't be fuddled with. And if the artwork from the master that painted it, there could be, a gentleman or a lady from prehistoric time, it fades away. Then you take your book to a professional restorer. I am a professional restorer. I can restore my painting. I can restore somebody who wants to pay me to restore their painting. I could do that and get paid for it. But I won't do it for free, because I paid for my studies before I came to this country. I had an art diploma which contains anything to do with art. I paid for it. I worked and I paid for it. My parents did not contribute to my adulthood study. I worked and I paid for whatever I need to keep me going to college or university or any sort of course that I have to continue to learn about what it is I want to learn. So therefore, like I said, it's all up to you. If you own the book, you can wash it with water, you can wash it with detergent, you can wash it with anything you want. But in the ideal world, you should keep the book with its original solutions. Whatever the company have sprayed the outer side and inside of the book, you should keep it as it was, in its original glory, because it held the price. The price value of any book you buy, you're not losing. It is like money you put on a shelf, your shelf. It's your belongings. It doesn't matter where it is. Concerning to anything you bought with your own money, doesn't have to be a book. Could be a piece of clothing. Could be anything in your house that you live in and you pay rent for a place where you live in, and you worked and you pay tax in your life that it belong to you. No one should touch anything belong to you without your consent. Anything anyone wants from you, they have to ask. They have to get permission, because everything that is living on our earth or in outer space, it has a value and it has a meaning. And as long as you are paying, it doesn't matter how fraction you're paying for anything. Like I said the other time when I was talking about helping others. You don't have to give your clothes for free. You don't have to give anything for free. If anyone borrows your book, they're helping you to understand what is in that book, and also you're helping them to stay in their position. As a librarian, for instance. Librarian, if you are a taxpayer, you contribute to a person and the library and the books and the land and everyone else who are concerned. Therefore, life is about helping others as well as helping yourself. So therefore, if you see a book thrown in the street, which I've seen many times, that book has its own value on its head. Because the person who chose to be an author and contribute to any word, any alphabet, in any written words, it has value on it. Where that person decided to throw it in the rubbish, for instance, because that person has no need for it, doesn't have space for it. People should concern the value of things that belong to them. You may have plenty of money. You go out and you spoil yourself and those others who are your friends, whoever you come across with. But you have to concern yourself with there are other people who cannot afford a luxury of having to buy a book and keep it as its own wealth. Anything we have as a possession while we are living as a human being, it has a value on it, whether it's old, new, or yet to be existed. So therefore, when a person goes and pay for its value as this one, I don't remember how much I paid for this one, but it is my possession. If anyone wanted this book in particular, they can borrow it from me. I am not a librarian. I keep it in my home, in the corner of my home, where I refer to it. It is my library, where I keep my books. If you have more than just one book, then you have a plural of the books. More than one is more than just one. One particular book is a singular. If there are two books, then it becomes a plural. There are two, not one on its own. If you have three, then it becomes three. You add one to two, you end up with three, and so on and so forth. So therefore, as I am speaking, this is what it is about value of anything. And in this particular, it's a value of a dictionary. And as I said, this has 33 years on its head, belonged to me, not to anybody else. And by that time, I was a mother. I already worked in this country and I paid tax. I contribute to the country and the land I walk on, and to the people I socialize with, and people who I walk in the street and I don't know who they are. I contribute my fair share of work that I mentioned before. I came to this country as a bride and I went to work straight away the first week. I had to get out of my home around 4 a.m. and get back. It's nearly midnight. Most of the nights I get back home nearly midnight because of the traffic. So therefore, I am a working class citizen. Even though my marriage broke down, I end up a single mom, I thought of doing something with my life and my child. I didn't sit around waiting for things to come to me. I went to college to learn. And I refer to college on any place I go to as my other home. And I treat other people as myself. If I want something from somebody, I ask, could I have that one? Is it for free or is it I have to pay? That way we are human. We have to speak for ourselves. We have to say what it is bothering us. We have to say what it is we want from us, from each other. That way people can live in harmony. Like just say, in my days when I grew up in my family home, my parents' home, and those of our relatives and neighbors, we didn't lock the door, the front door. Front door stays open for my parents, for us, the children, to go and come. So we go to work, we go to school, we go to shop for our parents. Whatever it is we have to go out to do, and we come back home. We never lost anything. Nowadays you cannot leave your front door open. And when you go to sleep, you have to lock your door. I myself, once my son went out to work, he had a night shift. I thought it was my son finished his shift and came home. Then it wasn't my son. It was this man, very tall man, taller than my front door. I was coming down the stairs and he ran off. So thereafter I said to my son, if you're going to work at night, it has to be all night until early in the morning so I can get up and open the door for you. Someone broke into our home last night. So therefore, thereafter, I will not leave my front door open for anybody. My children come to visit, they have to knock on the door. They have the key to my home, but they cannot come in. They have to knock on the door and they have to tell me they are visiting. I gave them their freedom. I taught them how to be a good citizens, good people, to care about others and pick their friends as they wish. But if they have to come to visit me, I need to know they are visiting me. If I am at home and they forgot their keys or they've lost their keys, I am happy to open the door to them. Those my children, the one I gave birth to. I am not talking about the children I adopted or my friends' children my children grow up with at school. I am talking about my biological children. They are welcome to come to my home, to their home. This is their home as much as it is mine. Even if I'm not here, if I go away and they come to visit and I'm not at home, they can come and stay in this house as long as I am away from home. When I come back home, they can visit me and go back to their own place. I had a very hard life and I don't want to go on about it. But privacy is an issue in this country and everywhere you go, I suppose. Since my parents' home cannot be stayed open like it used to be in the past when I grew up as a child, therefore there is a privacy issue wherever you go in this planet. I grew up in a very happy, peaceful life. Whatever we had, we're happy with. Whether we could afford it or we can't afford it, we don't have it. My parents taught me, if you cannot afford anything, don't get it. You can live without it. And when you have the money for it, you then buy it. Go and work. Work a decent work. Find yourself a job. That way you went to school to learn. You're not illiterate. You're educated. So find the books that you don't know about, what is you don't know about, and learn about. That way I always say, write something as small as it can. Maybe just the day. What is today? For instance, today is Monday. Write it down every day. Next day is Tuesday. Then write Tuesday. Wednesday, write Wednesday. Thursday, write Thursday. Friday, write Friday. Saturday, it's Saturday. All right? Sunday, it's Sunday. Every country has its own ways of celebrating. It don't mean you are included. We live by the rules of religious and culture and behavior. Those are the three things that are important in life. But it doesn't mean I am different culture. I believe in a different religions. I'm gonna be nasty to someone else. I am not that kind. We are all human. When you are born, just born as a baby, you don't know anything about religions. You don't know any words to speak of. You have to grow and learn to speak. And then you understand who are your parents, who are your brothers and sisters, and then you go to school and you understand why is it you go to school. It wasn't your choice, it's your parents' choice. They put you at that school because it's their reference. And they prefer that school because it's nearer to your home. So you go there. You don't want to go in transport and spend like me. I used to spend hour going to school, hour back from school, hour go to school, hour back from school, 4 times a day. And I did also when I went to work. My mother said, if you like home lunch, I'll prepare it for you. If you don't, you can take it with you. I'll prefer your lunch or you do it yourself in the evening and then you take it with you. said that there you go. I have done my bit in my life from a very, very early age. I was going to school and my neighbor called up on me saying, would you like to get me some shopping? Then I said, at the moment, I don't have time. I am going to school. Then she said, after school. I said, all right. I did that because I went on my own to school. And my mother told me, when you go to school, you are going to school. If you're going to play around with your friends, make time for that. Like, as a children, I used to love playing with my friends near my home. My mother and father never objected to that because I've been told what it is, which kind of play I have to play. You don't go to your friends' homes, you play in the streets, so you play children's play where everybody can see you. And then when it's lunch hour, if you didn't hear me calling on you, you have to come home. Don't sleep in the street playing. Or forget about you are supposed to be at school and you spend your time playing with your friends. You don't do that. So therefore I know what is my duty. I have to go home and I have got to go to school. And if my neighbor wanted it something I have to get for my neighbor, I have to calculate the time in my head whether it's convenient for me to go there and back and then go home, without my mother or father or my brothers and sisters having to come out looking for me, whereabout I am being held. My parents never have to look for me. I always go back home. I always find my way home. It doesn't matter where I am in this planet, I always go back home. It's a lesson I learned from my mother one day, the first day she took me to school. I remember it just like now. She told me. She held my hand while we were still at our home and she said to me, I'm going to take you to this place, it's called school. And she said, you have to observe where are we going because it's a long way from home and you have to make yourself back home. You have to come back on your own. I'm not picking you up. I got other commitment to do. So you have to come back home on your own, which I did. And while at school, before she let me go, hand me over to the teacher, she gave me a hug and whispered in my ear telling me, this is your second home. Feel comfortable. These people are here to help you to succeed in life and have a better life. These people are going to teach you the things maybe I don't know to make you a better person. Those were the days. I was at the age of 7 and it was my first day going on my own to school and my neighbor came out asking me if I would get something for her from the shops with money in her hands. I said, I cannot do it right now. I'm going to be late for school. Then she said, after school, would you spare some time? I need this. I cannot go to the shops. I said, all right, I'll do that when I came out, which I did. That was my first job. And thereafter, she always come out and ask me, because I am not allowed to go in other people's homes. That's what my parents told me. You're going to go to school. We're sending you to school. You go to school and you come home. If you play with your friends, you do that. But remember, don't go too far away and then you don't remember how to get back home. And you have to remember the address where you live by heart. You don't write it anywhere to lose it, to lose the address or to lose anything. You keep it in your head. So then if you're far away from home, you don't know how to get back home, at least you should ask, where about this street? You don't give your home address, you just ask about the street or the area where you're supposed to go to your home. And there you have it. Like I said, if a book have a dust on it, get a brush, dry one. Don't wet it with anything. This is my pens brush. I am an artist, like I said. And this is got few colors on it. So what you do, you brush your dictionary. The same as this one. And to mention, a receipt, this one still have its own receipt. And I try always to keep the receipt in my books. You use it to put it in wherever you were reading. For instance, if it's not a dictionary, it's a book. You put it in the page where you last were reading, so you refer to it the next time you open the book and you find your receipt there. And I was talking before about a tag with a price on it. This one have a price on it. Not always they put a price on it. But if they put the price on it, it is helpful because you then know whether you can afford to buy the book you're looking for. And this receipt still have prices on it. It hasn't faded away yet. But I have to admit, the one I bought from college, I didn't get a receipt. And I didn't ask for one. I normally don't ask for one. If I don't get a receipt, I just pay and go. Like I said, it's not every culture or every country it's compulsory to have a receipt. Like, you know, I also go to a market, like I said before. You go to a market, and in the market, not necessarily anything is new, apart from vegetables, you know, and fruit. They are fresh. They are original from whoever the farm they brought it from. But as for books, clothes, shoes, cutlery, you know, furniture, you can get those from a market where they are not new, therefore you don't get a receipt in the market. In this country, seldomly you find somebody with anything, maybe a tablet, maybe a mobile phone, maybe just like small thing or a till, and you pay. You may get a receipt, you may not. And traditionally, if I may to say, you know, before the receipt came about, there was no receipt. People used to buy things from, you know, anywhere. You don't get a receipt. But as it happened in this particular time, there is a receipt for this book. And these books are my children's dictionaries, which then they don't need them anymore. They grow out of them, which I bought, as you do if you have children. You would understand, like my parents did before me. I came home the first day with a list of things my parents have to pay for that the school don't provide. I did the same with my children, and these dictionaries were my children's dictionaries. My children's three. I have 3 children, so therefore every child have its own from one part of their life. 1 year. They are secondary dictionaries for secondary school children that I bought for my children. So they have aged, the 3 of them. And this one is worst. I suppose my son was referring to it most of the time. It's aged more than this one. because this one is, my children's mother tongue is English. My children are British. So therefore, my son didn't refer to this one as much as my other son, who was learning French. So this one is more roughed up. So he'll, like, say, having lunch, he'll open it and stream through it, look through the pages for something he wants to know, he wants to learn for the moment. And this one they mentioned spelling and grammar, Webster's. So the company who published this one is not the same as this one. And I have two. This one is the same company as this one. They have same name at the top. And as far as I understand, every book must have a mother page, which is a copyright. There it is. And this dictionary doesn't have a, it has a blank page, both sides, but it doesn't have many pages. So then the content of this grammar dictionary, less of things. It's spelling dictionary. So there you go. Spelling, the same as this one. And it's grammar. Spelling also to do with grammar. The first content of this one is grammar, which is started with number 5. So they didn't add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because of the pages before it. So they just say, this is one page, this is the second page, this is the third page, this is the fourth page, therefore this is the fifth page. So they count 5 pages. They start from 5, which is the copyright page. And then thereafter, the pages are numerical order, and the lines of the dictionary words are lined up, ascending and descending. You could read either way. If you're looking for a word under the alphabetical order, like say spelling, you look under S and you find it under S, and you should know whereabout does S fall on. That's the alphabet order. Alphabet comes as an order. The same with numbers and sequence and figures. Figures, sequence, and numbers, there are 3 different words, but they are all the same. Yes? So you could say figure number 1, that is 1, is a number 1. So you could say sequence number 1, that is sequence number 1. Or you could say number 1, just 1, on its own. But if you refer to 2 different ones, then they become 2. They are different. This is one and this is another, but they're not the same. But sometimes if they just say it's a library or it's a bookshop, you might have two of the same or more than just two on the same shelf, put on the shelf for selling. Then if you buy just one particular dictionary, like this one, it is one. But if you buy, say you have triplets, children, you gave birth to triplets as a woman, as a mother or a father, you went to the shop to look for a triplets dictionary, so you need three of the same because they are three children. They need one each. They cannot share at the classroom because when the teacher is explaining the words to be distracted from dictionary with children, every child has to look at its own dictionary. Right? So every child have its own value as a singular person, as a singular sequence. So if you have three children, you buy one for them. But at home you keep a main dictionary, not this little one. You keep a main large dictionary for different words, and you should have a different word that explains the dictionaries from others. Like for instance, this is thesaurus, A to Z. Okay, so thesaurus is referring to what is entailed for this dictionary, this particular dictionary. It's not telling you anything about the grammar. Therefore, if you want a grammar dictionary, you then have to buy this one. This one is grammar dictionary, this is thesaurus. They are teaching you different things, both of them. And the third one here is the French dictionary. So these three dictionaries, there are three different understanding for you. They will teach you, for instance, this one, thesaurus, it will teach you about thesaurus, words and meanings. It doesn't mean it has a different grammar. It already have the grammar. The grammar would be exactly the same as that one because it's English dictionary. So they're not referring to grammar here. If you're having difficulty with the grammar, then you have to use that one. You have to pick that one. And as I said, this one may not entail all of what you want concerning grammar, but it's handy to have it with you as a student. And if you learn, and if you bought it, let's just say you bought it like an adult. It doesn't have to be a student. It don't have to be, a child who goes to school. Let's just say me. I am going somewhere and I don't know, like this one, or any other dictionary with any other sort of kind of language. So when you go traveling somewhere, you're obviously going to be, let's just say, you sit in a restaurant and you wanted to eat something or drink something from a menu and you don't know the language. So you have this dictionary to check the menu words, to find in the book, to understand what it is. You know, most menus have a picture of a dish, the food that is they're serving. That's the menu being prepared for a regular serving on a dish. Like just say they're serving coffee. Okay, what is in the coffee? Are you having it black? Are you having it with milk? Are you having it with sugar or honey? Or are you having it with cream? So, if you get the menu and you want cream, you don't want milk, you want cream with your tea. I prefer my tea with cream. The same with coffee, but I don't drink tea or coffee. I have difficulty sleeping. I tried different sort of coffee and tea, but it didn't work for me. So therefore, I don't drink tea or coffee. But I am just giving an example of, like, let's say, you know, you came to this country they drink tea with milk, and some other part of the world where you go to a country where they drink herbal tea with milk and sugar. But you want honey, you don't want sugar. They just say, you know. So, you don't understand the menu. And you have one of those in your handbag or in your pocket. As a gentleman, you put it with you and you take with you in your pocket somewhere, in your jacket or somewhere. Same with a woman. If you don't take your handbag as a lady, obviously you go and climbing a mountain. You're not taking your handbag, you're gonna go backpacking. So you put it in your jeans, just let's say, you know, or you waterproof. You went to Himalayas, for instance, in the icy weather for holiday. So you refer to it, and then, you know, because other parts of the world, not necessarily they calling coffee as coffee. Not necessarily they would call fruit as fruit, or tea as tea, or lunch as lunch, dinner as dinner, or breakfast as breakfast, or a time, you know. Things like that. Let's just say, you know, your mobile phone ran out of batteries and you don't know the time. You want to ask somebody because you booked for something. You're part of other people's life. Like you went on holiday on a group. So you have one of those. You keep it with you as your companion. And you refer to it. You may not have the right accent when you say it. I myself, I've been in this country now, I must say, more than 37 years. And I only learned the best of English language. I've learned it as I go along. And I keep going to college. I keep want to know what is there is I don't know about. I want to know. So though I go to college, I find myself a time with my busy life. I don't get bored. I have to admit. I am not a person who gets bored. I don't need any sort of companion. I get along with my life on my own. I am always busy, and my time, it flies away like a wind. So therefore, I make time for my life to be an ordinary life, to live it as an ordinary ways. And like I said, I don't have a television to entertain me, to get me out of my boredom. I don't get bored, even if I don't have to read. I'm dyslexic. Sometimes I cannot read. And even if I read, the words don't mean a thing to me. I don't understand what it is I am reading. That is dyslexic. So there go days where I cannot read. Or write, for that matter, you know. So I choose to go to college, go out places, enjoy the weather. I admire the weather very much indeed. I am very intrigued about the weather, the way it changes, the mood of the weather. Like for instance, yesterday, it was a very cheerful day, very beautiful. You can go out or you can stay in. For me, it wouldn't matter whether I am or out, but I prefer in. So then I refer to my books, to my painting, to anything that I haven't read about. And like I said, if you write just simple things every day, it helps your brain keep active. That is the meaning of having to be literate. It helps you see life in a better way. You appreciate life because I appreciate everything, every little thing. To me, everything has a value, whether it's small or it is very large. So therefore, to explain the value of having to have a dictionary in your collection, it is important. This one also have another page. There it is. I already showed you this one. This is another page, and this is the contents of what is entailed inside this dictionary, this particular dictionary. This one have more than one front page, which tells you the same thing. That one also. And then that one. That one is another page. This one has more to say about the rules of copyright. And it's here in English content and in French. Table des matières in French. That is in French, if I said it right. Table des matières content in English. So therefore, the copyright rules are here in the mother page, and then in here, what is the words of French, where to find them. And French also have alphabet. I do believe every language has alphabet. So this dictionary have a page in the middle, 1.5 page in the middle for keeping notes. For me personally, if I am learning a language, any language, and the words don't stick in my head, I just keep repeating the word. Like, for instance, if I have a number, phone number, my friend would give me a phone number and say, here's the number. You can call me whenever you want. We get together, like getting together with friends. I just met a new friend and I got a phone number. I'll keep it written down, but I prefer to learn things in my head, to keep my head active, to keep my memory active. So what I do, I try to learn words by heart. That's what I did when I came to this country. I find English language is like a taboo. It's so difficult because Arabic, you write, you start from the right side and you write in Arabic from the right. But French and English, you write that way. Whereas the Chinese and some other culture, they write it online, standing up, like a dictionary. This one has only 2 lines, 2 each page. But this one has 2 also. 2. This is 1 page, 2 sets of words for each page. Whereas this one has more. So this one would have more words than it would this one. Because this one has just 2 each page, 2 lines, ascending and descending. You can choose either way. Now this one has 3 for each, and the writing is so small. So this grammar little dictionary, it would contain more words, but it depends also on the size. To compare this size with that size, this one, I suppose maybe it's almost double the size of this one. So this one maybe have like just 2 lines each page, that way, both. Ascending and ascending meaning is you can choose a word from the top or from the bottom. So you can look it up. You can look for a word either ascending or descending. Ascending as you go up, descending as it goes down. So you can find a particular word of a particular alphabet from A to Z, like it says here. So you open the dictionary, you go like this, and you pick. And this one is highlighted for the words that are inside. It's got lines in it to remind you whereabout it is. You should pick a page for the alphabet you're looking for, and then you stream like that, and then you find the word you want, and then you go about the way you want, like this one, P, Q. Is that Q? Yes. 2 Q, small q, capital Q. So this one dictionary, it has the alphabet, and the alphabet letter that you're referring to, if it's from the start, it should have small and large, capital letter and small letter inside. So, like I said, it is important to know the alphabet by heart. And when I was going to college, then I learned things like that. If I don't remember the word, how to say it or how to spell it, or say a phone number, they are sequence. Alphabet also is a sequence. You could count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So how do you say Collins? So you separate the words. You say Lin, S. In your head, you don't separate them as they are written. You keep them as they are. But for you to remember them easily, CO, it comes as co. This is another problem with the language, some language, and I find it with English. C, sometimes they call it K, which is K spelled differently. Letter K is different than C. So you have to be careful how and when the letter changes. Callings is spelled like you calling someone. Someone is calling, for instance. You spell it differently. But Collins is a surname of somebody, or a first name of somebody, or a company who've been established as a publishing company. So they either choose their names or surnames or family names for their family company. Like for instance, Collins. So Collins. So they have 7-letter words also. You learn how many letters there are in Collins if you want to learn how to spell Collins without looking. Because you won't find Collins inside this dictionary. Like I said yesterday, Thesaurus, I couldn't find it inside it. So if you want to